so this is going to be really bad sound, so what do I do?
There we go. Okay, that was weird. So, welcome back. Let me make sure the stream's running and everything. And we are going to get back to developing in F#. Close that. What are we doing? Okay, so I think we are live. Just double check here. Yep, we are live indeed. Cool. Let me just share this. Just gonna send some. Okay, so I have said hi over in the F# Discord. We are going to get on a roll. So, since the last stream, I took a little bit of time off air, and I thought about the structuring of our vocation over here. Kind of just game rules stuff. I just realized that the idea of breaking apart into like a magic vocation and a mundane vocation was kind of silly because there were certain things that violated that, and like there's certain classes that could violate that, so it was kind of a bad idea. So it ended up even simplifying our vocation even more here. So then what we're doing today is we're implementing the UI for a bunch of this stuff. So first thing we're going to do is make a UI for I gotta scroll down here, for 0 to 5. Then we already have and actually I'm kind of interesting here. There's kind of an interesting thought process where how much sometimes when can you overbreak things up? I honestly usually don't feel like you can, but because for instance here, like, is it really worth it here to break out and make an entire new component for simply a little level thing? I don't know. I think it can be. I really do like how Safe Stack kind of breaks everything apart and it fits really nicely into my head. So you know what? We're gonna go ahead and just do that. Let me check my errors here real quick just to see which ones we're bringing over from yesterday. Ah yes. So we're basically gonna bring up here. So today what we're gonna be building is we want to get all this UI here. So we want to get, we have the attribute and core skill stuff working. We want our entire vocation to be working now. We want that to be, you can add different vocations. You can add vocational skills, combat skills, magic skills, and have it all calculated here. And that is the objective of today. And I think we can actually do it. I think we're going to have enough time. So first thing we're going to do is we're just going to, same as last time, we're just going to build this one little number here, this UI for this little box here. It is slightly different than over here because these guys up here can go from -2 to 5. We're going to start with this top thing here. This one can only go from 0 to 5. So this is slightly a different number range of a vocation because you can't have a -1 in a vocation. You're not allowed to have a -1 in a vocation. So we are going to get into it. So we do we have our module here. We go ahead and we have this here. So we're right below right now all the attribute and core skill stuff. We also have our type setup for our model and our message. We're going to call this changed 0 to 5. And then we're going to say let init. We're going to define our initial value as 0. We are then going to call our, ooh, did I lose my, my smooth jazz? Positive jazz. Positive jazz it is. Okay. So we're going to say let update. We're going to say message, and we're going to say model as always. We're going to match on our changed. So basically, if the user changes the UI, so they change that number, maybe they put it to like it's at a 0 and they turn it to like a 5 or a 1. We're going to go ahead and take that. We're going to match it with, and to be 100% honest, with certain small UI elements like this, you could argue it's a little bit overkill to write these components, because you can see here the update function can literally only do one thing. So why does it need to pass a message? This can be nice if you want it to be able to handle in the future, if you need to add more stuff. So that can be an option. Like maybe in the future I might need the ability to set my level of something internally. That might be an option. So regardless, we will keep going here. So we're going to match, change, nope. We're going to match on our message, and we're going to match changed. So we're matching on our message, and we're if we get changed 0 to 5, we are simply going to take the new value, and it should be of int here, because we're going to be getting an integer from the UI, and then we're going to use a function to convert it to our type. So if we do get this new value, and you can see on the, like, we are modeling very similar to what we were doing before. So then we're going to match here, and we say int to 0. Now this is where we need this. We need int to 0 to 5 option, because we could receive a value here that is incorrect. We could receive a value that is out of bounds, so we need to handle that. So we're actually going to go over to 0 to 5. And we have 0 to 5, 0 to 5 to uint. But we're also going to need a function here that we need, essentially, we need this function. But we need it, so this one's for -1 to 5. We need this for uh, 0 to 5. Oops, being stupid. So once we have this, we can change it from int to 0 to 5 option. And we don't need the -1 here. And we need to indent this, of course, because if we don't, things will not work. And we need to bring this all back. Okay, so then we can take in a integer and convert it to an option of 0 to 5 int. Okay, and then what we can do over here is whenever we get in, whenever we get in this new value here, we say int to 0 to 5 option, we provide it the new value, and then we say with, and then we say sum So if we converted it and it wasn't none, then we want to say sum new 0 to 5. And then we're going to go ahead and do new 0 to 5. So that'll be our new value. Otherwise, if we got none, then we're not going to change anything because we don't accept invalid input, and we're just going to send the model. And that's essentially it. And the last thing we're going to do here is just, we can actually just copy most of this here. And the only difference here is we're going to change this, where it can go from 0 to 5 to uint. Now, this does, so the HTML UI is going to run off of int. So we actually need to convert our integer to a uint before we pass it into our function or code here. So we're going to limit this from 0 to 5, so those are the only inputs we accept. And then we're going to say, so actually model here is fine. But then we want to convert it to an int. So it takes the model, it converts it, and then it puts it into an int. Yep, that all looks good. Do I even need this surrounding this in order to, I guess I do. I need to wrap it. Alrighty, so then we now have our UI for 0 to 5, and we just have an input box. So then we can build the next thing up. So the next thing up, if we look over in our type here, and actually let's go ahead and commit. Added 0 to 5 UI. You gotta commit check. Okay. Okay, so then the next thing we're gonna go ahead and do is we can go take a look at our vocation type. So for vocation, we have our level here. String isn't really worth making its own component for. The dice pool isn't either. Vocation skill list, however, that will need its own UI, because this one's special. This guy's going to be able to be 3 different components, 3 different pieces of UI. So we need to construct each of these. We're going to start, yeah, we should build each of these up first. So then what we're going to do is make we're going to call this vocation skill. Bring this guy down. Okay, so then we got a vocation skill, and a vocation skill is going to be it's going to be followed by a couple things. So a vocation skill, it could be either a vocational skill or a magic skill. So we should define each of these, and then yeah, we should define each of these first. So then we're going to have a vocational skill and a magic skill. So we have a vocational skill. Is there not a way where I can like drag this very quickly? And then we're also going to want a magic skill. And what's funny is I could go over to my FS Proj and just do this really quick if I wanted to. But we're good. Okay, so then we can do the vocational skill. So a vocational skill, and we can use as a reference our core skill. So we say module, vocational skill, open Fogent dot vocational skill. We're going to say type message. We're going to say if our -1 to 5 changes, 1 to 5 message. Actually, is there a way to rebuild? Because these are very similar messages. Can I go to a vocational skill? Like, can I build a... Because if I'm not mistaken, actually... So if I'm not mistaken... See, each of these is composed of a... of a skill. And so what I could do is break out. Let's see here. Yeah, what I could do here is actually I could break out this skill thing internally and make my component for that, and then I could reuse it across core skills, vocational skills, magic skills, all of it could use it. So we're going to do that. So we're also going to add skill.fs, and we're going to put this guy probably right here. Seems good. And we're going to say module skill open Fogent.skill type message -1 to 5 message of, and actually we can probably steal the majority of this over here. The only thing is we're going to want to, with our view, we're going to want our view to have a placeholder in the middle where we can jam stuff into the row. So I'll show you what I mean. Because essentially, we're going to want to leave space in the middle here so that we can jam in something like governing attributes and stuff. So we got this. We can just say skill here. We can delete this. We can delete this. We can bring in some more stuff here. we won't need core skills, but we will need dice pool, and we'll also need okay. Oh, and we do need this to be a little bit lower then. So he should realize what this is in a second. We have calculate dice pool. We can set the defaults here. We don't need this now. And then here we can simplify this to just being this. So then so our model here is the skill, so we don't need to say skill here. We can just say level. Why are you angry? I don't think we need model. We're doing model with too many times, so we can get rid of this. We can delete all this. Paste this there. We just can do level now. And then we can also do just dice pool here. And we can, so calculate core skill dice pool. We don't need calculate core skill. Okay, now this is the question here. This guy is gonna need knowledge of what to run his UI with. So this guy, right, we're trying to abstract out this notion of a skill. So we have like athletic skill here, acrobatic skill, communication skill, and we're gonna have vocational skills, and they all share kind of a fundamental structure. We want to extract it out. They need the ability to calculate a dice pool and to be able to call the logic that does so. So I believe that will stay the same no matter what. And I can actually, what I can do is I can make it the parent's responsibility to, yes, I can make it the parent's responsibility to basically pass down the information that needs to run a calculation. And we can literally just use, yeah, so we will do this because that way that this centralizes everything, and then each of the higher order functions can pass down the thing that they actually need below. So I'm not going to do this right now. I'm going to finish working on this UI, and then we'll finish that part, because then we'll be done. So the name is the name. The column here is just going to be level, and then our skill here, our skill, and that all looks good. But we do want, within our view here, we do want to essentially pass in at a certain position so what we want to do here, we kind of want to do a little bit of a list append stuff. So we want to open up our middle here to where, because what we're going to want is, so what we're going to do here is we're going to want a we're gonna want this guy up top. And so then what it'll go, the idea is to be able to jam it in to the right of the name. So we can go up here, we can throw in our Bulma column here. Then we can, there's a really clever way to append lists. I forget it. I forget the really clever way to append lists. 1 second, I should have a demonstration of how to do it in my old code. So if I go over to server, if I go over to my server here, was there not a clever way that I used? It's some kind of operator. I think it's, yeah, it's at. It's at, and it means append. So what we can do then, pass it this. We can then append it with another list here, and this will be something that we feed in additionally into our view here, which we can call, I will call this, I don't know, governing or it is, I guess, governing skill. So then we have this. We can go ahead here and throw this and append it here. And then we can also here go ahead and then append in our bottom here, which is going to be just our dice pool here and our level. Okay. And then finally we can throw this into, because now we have an array, then we can throw this into a pipe operator with Bulma dot columns, and then finally we can do Bulma content. And then this should all be good. So that all looks good to me. And then if we want, we can just set this as empty for a bunch of things, but that view's looking good, so we can pass down and feed into this if we need it to show something in the middle there. And then up here, so this is where things get a little bit tricky with our skill. So actually no, I take it back. This guy will not be responsible for calculating a dice pool. That's not what he is. Like he doesn't know what kind of dice pool or what kind of skill he is. He's unaware of that context. His parent will take care of that for him, but his parent will pass down a dice pool for him. And we'll call this set dice pool. So I'll call this set dice pool. And then all this guy's going to do is that our new dice pool is going to be whatever they calculated above and they figured it out for us, we'll just set it. Okay, so now we have skill. And what's really cool about that now is because we have skill set up like this, we don't need most of core skill now. So we can go over to core skill. What we're going to do here, we are going to... So the first thing it's going to call, it can call a skill message of skill dot message. It can calculate its dice pool. That's great. For the default skill, it's just going to use skill dot init. And then governing attributes would be empty right now. Awesome. This gets changed to a skill message. Skill update. Message in our model. So why is this being angry? Oh, because I need to update the entire... So I need to just call this. And the guy below will handle it. Nice. Okay, so then we go ahead. We have now our function where we're basically we're handling the base case of all skills here, and we have this elegant way now where we can share this. We're going to be able to share this in like 3 or 4 different places, which is going to be really nice. And so I'm going to save myself having to write a lot of code. Well, not that much code, but you get the point. So then, we accounted for our skill message. Now, whenever we calculate our dice pool, though, we shouldn't do this where we directly set this. We should allow the skill to handle it. So we should say skill, all this is good. We're not going to call this we want to set the skill, and the skill we're going to call skill.update, and we're going to call so we're going to give it a message, and we're going to give it the model. So our message is going to be set dice pool. Well, here we'll have to use skill.set dice pool. I will say message here. And then our value is just going to be our calculated value here. And then okay, why are you angry at me? You taking a message and a model. So we need to give this, because it's actually our message that's containing the data. Ooh, this looks gross as hell. I'll have to figure out a way to do this nicer. Hold on. Let's get the syntax happy. And we can give it skill. Ooh, I don't like that. Can I? No, I have to have those. Can I do... It's just not that pretty. I wish there was a way to make it look nicer. Okay. But essentially this is just our message we're sending, and we're saying, hey, here's the new dice pool, set it, and we're giving our skill. So then what's cool is now our UI here simplifies a ton. So we actually just call skill.view. It wants a React element here. So we actually are going to change skill here to accept a list. Because what I don't want is allow them to anybody to shove anything in here, so we'll use an option. We'll use an option. Doopa-doopa-doo. So we can just do a little match governing skill column with, let's see if this is gonna let us do this. Some governing some column let's do okay. Beautiful. So then what we can do over here for our view is just say none. We can also then just pass it our model dot skill what do you think you are? And then our dispatch will be skill message. We give that to dispatch. Okay. Easy peasy. Super duper easy. I will leave this here just in case I end up doing anything else. So that should just magically work now. Let's see, is everybody happy over here? I know some people won't be happy. Hey, we got our core skill working. So then I can save this. Building up more UI for skills. So then what's cool here is that we can go to we can start working on like our vocational skills and stuff. So for a vocational skill, ooh, I gotta pop my back. Okay. What are we gonna do here? Well, here, before we continue further, I'm gonna use our bathroom break real quick. So BRB, using rest. Be right back. Taking like 10-minute-ish break. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay. I'm back. I've returned. So, we are going to continue here. So, we got our vocational skill. So, I don't really drag. Well, actually, we can just do this now. So, our vocational skill, right? What is our vocational skill going to be? It's going to be very similar to our core skill. Very similar to our core skill. And what we're going to do, we're going to need a vocational skill. We don't need skill here. We're going to say our different things that can change are we can, oh wait, this is wrong, I want this. We get a skill message and we can calculate our dice pool. So we get a skill message, message, and we can calculate our dice pool, and this will have a slightly different calculation. This will have dice pool calculation. This takes in an attribute list here, which is perfect. we want to do our init, type init. We go ahead and give it our skill.init. We say governing attributes, and we just give that an empty list right now, so it's got no governing attributes. Let update message model match with skill message model with skill. See, I kind of wonder, since I'm modeling the structure very similarly here of the update over there, is there a way to do this where I can reuse this stuff? I don't think so, because I am technically handling this differently, or at least the calculate dice pool portion I am. I think we're good. We might refactor this later. Model with, and we want our skill to equal skill.update message model.skill. And then we're going to do another one here, call it calculate dice pool, and this is going to come with a message, and we're going to take that message, and we're going to throw it into a new model here. Now the problem here, it doesn't know about dice pool calculations, so we're going to help it out. Why are you angry? Is it because this is... There we go. So we can say model with skill equal to skill update, and we can just give it this. But we are going to have to figure out a new way to calculate our... So we can't use calculate core skill dice pool because this isn't a core skill, but we can make our own invocational skill. So if we go to Fogent Roleplay now, and we go to our vocational skill, so core skill does this. We can probably learn a lot from this. Okay. I'm gonna need some stuff. Honestly, I might... I might break this out into its own dice pool, or into dice pool rather. Or break this out into modified dice pool. Because we're going to end up reusing a lot of this logic. Like this guy right here. kind of want to break this out. Just a placeholder for now. We'll see here. We'll see what we can do. I think the majority of this can come out. And then we can break out this middle chunk here and reuse our stuff here again. I'm wondering if I'm over abstracting here, but I think this makes sense in my head, so we're gonna try it out. Alrighty, so then we want to break this out. And what we want to do is have a function that I want a function that takes skill level's good, and that's going to remain constant between whatever one we use. See this attribute name, so this is the higher order one. So the higher order one should take in the attribute, whereas the lower level one should just take in the, so there should be a lower level function here that's called let calculate skill dice pool. And this guy should take in the following. He should take in he should only have because I'm assuming because I basically want it to run this, but I want the attribute to have already been determined. Ooh, but can you do that? Huh. I might be overcomplicating this here. Let's do this. Let's solve the problems, and then we'll see where they overlap, and then we can extract it out. Because right now I'm grasping at something that isn't fully made up in my mind, so it's not really getting us anywhere at all, by the looks of it. So then, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Okay, so then we want to calculate a vocational calculate vocational skill dice pool. This guy will take in the dice pool calculation data. And then he will also take in the skill level, yes. And he will also take, he will not take an attribute name, he will take governing skills. Skill governing. Oops. Governing attributes. This will be a list of skill names here. And then what I want to do is I'll do a collect here. So we'll do dice pool calculation. We'll do this. There's a collect in between here, I think. So what I want to do is take in this attribute list. We're going to do a list.collect, and we're going to function, and within each of these we now have an attribute. And if so on a, and what we can really do here is actually just call this guy here within this one here. Yeah, but we're calling it on a different list. So what we're going to say here is given sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to collect across. We're going to grab all of our attributes, then we're going to collect across them. What we want to do is for each attribute, we want to check if the attribute, so if attribute dot attribute name equals the, because we need to, we can actually just do this backwards because we still need to, so we need to do this. We need to do list, and actually that's a great question here. So I believe find grabs us the inside of the list, yes. So, because what we want to do is gather the attributes we know that we're going to be using here. So then I can say collect list dot find, and we're going to give it here the skill governing attribute names, and then our function here is going to be a function that takes in a skill governing and he's going to return. So he's just looking to see if the Doopa-doopa-doo. Matches. So if attribute dot name oh wait, I already have it in attribute name, right? Okay. So then actually it's a good question. Dice pool calculation data. I don't think that dice pool calculation data contains, yeah, it's an attribute. Let's see here. List.find if the skill governing attribute equals the attribute. I'm doing something really stupid here. And I'm overcomplicating it, even in my head. We don't need this guy. So we call this on the attribute list, which is going to be a list of attributes for each attribute, and it's saying it's an attribute name. Each of these should be an attribute, so that's a problem right there. So it's going to feed this to collect. Collect expects to be given an attribute, and then for what is it going to do? Internally, it is going to, why isn't this an attribute? So for an attribute, it's going to collect all the attributes where and collect, I need to wrap this in, well, this will produce a list, so that's fine, but won't because find is just going to produce out here skill governing attribute. Because all I want to check here is if because now I just want to find, I have my attribute here on an attribute basis. If attribute dot attribute name equals the this should be type string. This is a list right now. So this should not be a list, but it thinks it is. So that you are not a list, sir. You are an attribute name. And then why is this getting angry at me? Type mismatch, expecting a list. So it's a list, but it was given the type of a list does not match the type attribute name. So it's a list? How come? Ah. There we go. Because it's collect. We just have to wrap it in an array afterward to make sure that it is able to extrapolate out the context. Okay, so then I have the attributes. And see, actually what I want to get out of this... Oh, did I do it backwards? Hold on. I have a list of... I might want to do this in the reverse order. Because right now I'm collecting an attribute name list. Yeah, I did it backwards. Okay. So I can say at least let find find attribute with attribute name. So find attribute with attribute name. So we have an attribute list. So an attribute name, and we have an attribute list. So this is going to take a function that goes ahead and takes in an attribute, and if the attribute dot name equals the attribute name, then we also got to give it the attribute list. Beautiful. And then what we can do, so we have find attribute with attribute name. Bingo. Then we don't need all of this. And we're just going to collect on, we'll do skill governing attribute names. And we're going to do a collect on these. And we're going to go ahead and give it or we don't need to give it a function. We're just going to give it here. We can give it a wrapped version of our function here, and list.collect here, we need to give this what? What do we give this? This guy needs to be given a... We're iterating over the attributes, so we want to give it the attributes. So it should be dice pool. Yes. Not attributes or whatever. Wabayam. And then in here, we just want to give it an incomplete function that it can collect over, and what that will be is a function. Yeah, we're gonna do this. Oh, we can also use filter here. think filter will work even better. Yeah. Yes. Find attribute with attribute name, and then we just got to give it the we need to set this because this guy needs an. So right now we're iterating through the attribute names. So then the thing that's going to be fed in here is an attribute name, but it needs an attribute list. So we can do this. We can change the position of this. Use it like so. Feed this guy with the attribute list, which will be dice pool calculation data dot attribute list, and then the thing we actually want to feed it that we're filtering over is up there. So then kind of don't need this. Or do I have it backwards again? I do have it backwards. So first needs to come, yeah, I did have it right the first time. Okay. Functional programming, baby. So I can copy this, put this here, and just swap my variables. Why are you still angry? It's giving me a skill list. No. Right. Right. Man, my brain is like, this is not good. I'm doing this poorly. I know how to solve it now though. I can do function here. I'm giving it in an attribute, and then what I can do here is for my hold on. Hold on. Okay, we're almost there. Okay, I think I had it backwards again. Oh. Oh my gosh, I think so stupid. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Clean slate here. Why am I having so hard? It's just two freaking lists. Okay, so what are we trying to do? Well, we have this base case here of if we are given an oh wait. Oh wait, I'm stupid. I had it right. My compiler is just stupid. Well, I'm also stupid. I wrote this wrong here. Okay. Uh, your type here should be attribute list. Actually, this shouldn't be an attribute. Well, this should be an attribute list, but this should not be an attribute list. This should just return an attribute. Which it does. Does list wrap it? No? Find should grab it. And actually, I don't know if I want to do find here, because if I do find and it can't find it, then I think it breaks. So I don't think I want to do this here. But hypothetically, I'm getting an attribute out of it, but I don't want it to be an attribute. I want it to be an attribute. Yeah, here, hold on. We want to do... do... Okay. So this will take a... And filter should just run... I actually don't think filter is what I want, because filter requires a Boolean predicate. Yeah, I'm not thinking of filter. I'm thinking of think I just want a map. Or no, it would be collect. Yeah. Because what this will do is this will take this function that just needs an attribute name, and it'll give me out an attribute list. And then, so this will run each of these with skilled names, which will return out an attribute list, and then I can just collect on that and then grab out the attributes. Yep, 2 collects. Yikes, that was bad. I completely lost my train of thought. Okay, so we do want to open we also don't need, so all these actually go down here. And this might get extrapolated somewhere at some point here. We have attributes, and then what we need to do is sum up all their levels. So then I can do attributes I want to run a little function here that, or run a map actually here. List.map. We're going to give it a function. And our function is, we already have attributes here. We just want a list.map function. We're going to call on each of these attributes. We're going to call, and actually I think you can just do attribute dot or we can just map these and grab out the attribute dot level, but we can of course convert it to and then all we need to do is sum it. Okay, awesome. And then I would like to break this out at some point here. Then for the base dice pool here, is it just not aware what a dice pool is? Yeah, it's not aware. Okay, open dice pool. Alrighty here. Oh, I hate being sick. So, see, this is a gross function. I don't like this right now. We're going to make this better, but we're going to continue on ahead. We'll do a refactor when we come through here and fix this up. This needs to get fixed. This is disgusting. This is really gross. But it is doing what we were saying. If we give it the dice pool calculation, the skill level, and the governing attribute list, then it should calculate us out our dice pool. So then we can go all the way back over here to vocational skill, and that whole exercise was just so we can calculate vocational skill dice pool. Model. Let's go over here to vocational skill real quick. And we're going to say this names. Beautiful. But the problem here is it's getting up in group at skill message. There we go. Alrighty, so now we have a vocational skill, and all we need to do is grab our core skill here. Oh, we don't even need these. We do want to pass down here. We do want to pass something down. What do we want to pass down? We want to pass down a column, and actually we're going to change this a bit here. So we're going to put a skill here real quick. And actually, can I just yeah, why don't I just, instead of even doing this, yeah, I can make this slightly better even. I don't want to call this governing skill. I want to call this governing attributes. And this is just going to be a string. And so then here we don't even need to do a match. We can just say what? Bulma.column, give it prop.text model, or no, governing attribute names. We are gonna rock this. Nice. I'm telling you, you're a string. Maybe the text there can be a lot of different things. That could be it. So you're a string. Or no, you're a no, you're fine. So you just take in a governing attribute names. No, you don't. You still take an option. Because I want to be able to display this. My bad. But I don't want to be passing down the UI element. I want to actually just pass down the string and then let it take care of itself down here. So that's good. But we'll handle the context down here. Or did I like it the first way, where it's just the child? I kind of like this way, actually, now. The original way. Okay. Well, so be it. We're gonna leave this like this. And then we are going to then actually all we want to do for core skill, it's fine, but then for vocational skill, we do need to move this here, and then we can just do a handy dandy little one of these, and then we can why is prop angry here? So this will just be model dot is prop a part of Feliz? I do need to convert this to a, what's it called now? I think I already have a function that given an string to stringless separated by comma. Let's make this a bit more functional down here. Use our friendly pipe operator here. Cool. So now we have our vocational skill set up here. Pretty darn simple. Let's commit some stuff. What did I do? I did a lot of stuff. Added calculation logic for functional skills. And then let's go ahead and do a close all here. Let's go back to vocation. So now we got a vocational skill set up. So the next thing higher up would be a magic skill. And if I'm not mistaken, a magic skill is going to handle fairly similarly, because if I remember, correctly, vocation is made of vocational skills, which can either be a vocational skill or a magic skill, and I believe a magic skill does use a vocational skill under the hood. It does. The only difference is that it has this other information about it, but we can represent it the exact same way. So, for a magic skill, I believe all we're gonna do is just daisy chain it here with our vocational skill. So we can say module magic skill. We can open Fogent.magic skill. We can type message equal vocational skill message of vocational skill dot message. Let init equal vocational skill dot init. Let update message model equal. Oh, here, real quick though, I want to do something fun though. Whoa, before I continue, I want to go back over here. Where was I doing? Where was I doing? I believe it was under here. I believe it was under vocational skill. So what if I here I believe new, or there's the underscore thing I can do now. Yeah, I can do the shorthand for this function, can't I? This should work now, let's see. So if I remove this, and I think I can just, for attribute here, throw an underscore. Is it smart enough to understand? Or does it have to be... I don't think I can do too much logic inside here. It's only if it's unwrapping it. Okay, never mind. Worth a shot. So then all of our update is we match. I don't even know if this is worth it actually. We're not going to be changing anything at all. Yeah, I don't think we want to do this. I don't think this actually does anything. Because we're gonna handle like we're gonna handle it within our vocational skill or our vocation skill, so we can actually just get rid of this. And then actually for because now with a vocation skill, we would do. Ow! I just whacked my funny bone. Dang it! That hurt. That actually really hurt. Ow! I freaking did it right on my funny bone. That freaking hurts. Gosh dang it. Oh. Okay, so then we have our vocation skill here, which we're finally building up to. That's these guys in here. And so what we want to do here, we want to do module, vocation skill. We want to grab over our types that we've defined over in our library. And we're going to go to vocation skill. Our message type is going to, so what can happen on this? Well, really the only thing that can happen is this is kind of just a passing through function where he just passes through, he just combines different components and then passes down the messages to them. And there are, I guess, 3 different kinds of messages here because there are 3 different types of a vocational skill. So then what we can do here is say, so first things first, we'll want to reference our types over here. I believe it goes vocational skill, weapon skill, and then a magic skill. So we'll do vocation skill message of vocation skill dot message. And actually under the hood here, a weapon skill is also just a vocational skill, but we're going to treat it slightly differently. And then actually a or a magic skill is actually only it will also be a vocational skill. So the UI is going to be the exact same way no matter what. Okay, init. And what are we going to do here? So what do we want to do here? We want to initialize. We can just use our skill in it. And, or not our skill in it, our vocational skill in it. Or, no, we actually would want to give here. Which is a good question. What do I give over here? I might just want to give it a, let's see here. Let me think about this for a second. I think it would just be a vocational skill would be the default. Because that's like the base case. So we can do let update message model equal. So there's 3 different there are 3 different messages that can happen here. Now, one thing that I will need to fix actually is that the vocational skill can only vocational skills, so like not the weapon skill or magic skill, but vocational skills, they only update. Um, so they only get changed when the vocation gets changed. They do not get changed when the yes. So then, I might want in skill first. Because, like, weapon and magic skill, they can get changed. Hmm. Hmm. I might want to make it here so that So I might want to make it that, because what I'd like to do is have it so where I can lock off the UI, so that over here, if somebody tries to click into this little text box right here, that they literally can't change it if they literally cannot change it if it is a vocational skill. That would be handy dandy. So then let's see, didn't I do something similar over in my old UI? Not partially interactive here. What was partially interactive? Okay, what I could do is just use... Oh, actually, that's a way to do it. That's a great way to do it. I can just lock it with the view. So I can literally just use a different view. So then I can keep skill the same and just give it different views. So then I could go to... I can go back here. And for my view, so this is like an interactive view. If I want to make it... So I could do it this way. Actually, I think I do want to do it this way. So it'll take in the model, the dispatch, interactive, can user change level. And this will be a Boolean. And so wherever I dispatch here, so this won't be an input here. This would just be a... I don't think it matters where I handle it too much. I think it might be nicer if I handle it down there. So let's just do a what a horrible name. So, can user change level? Actually, we do want to handle it neg 1 to 4. Because even though that they can't interact with it, doesn't mean it's not a neg 1 to 4. So actually we want to do this. So we just want to say and we just want to give in here can user change level, and then down here in our neg 1 to 5 and then what we want to do here, throw this here, throw this into this guy here, and then I do want to add in an append here, match can user is user interactive. So we can say is user interactive, match on is user interactive. You actually want to do this differently. I want to do this way differently. Dude, my dog is shaking beside me. It's hilarious. Match. Oops, I do want this. Is user interact. So if it is, if true, then I can go ahead and give this. Else, I just want to say Bulma dot and then I think I just give it prop.text. Bulma doesn't like that. things do you have, Bulma? You do box, card, container, content. I mean, I could do input. But I want to make sure, how do I lock this? Surely there must be a way to lock this. Lock and input field. How do I lock it? Loading, disabled. Disabled, okay. So I can just give it the disabled thing here if I want. Okay, so actually, wait, so if I just do prop dot disabled. It takes in a bool. Okay. Oh, that's so easy then. I can simplify this way more. Prop dot disabled. Is user input disabled? So then I can go to core skill here, and I can say, is user input disabled? False. He's happy now. I can go over to vocational skill, and for a vocational skill, it Whew. I actually think I want to move this over to vocation skill, because I'm realizing a lot of this is like generally applicable to all of them. I think I can just so I think I can just actually here, well, let's move this over chunk by chunk. I think the important thing is that so like I don't need one of these for magic skill and all this. I just need one larger vocation skill, and then I can handle my stuff in here. And then if it gets too big, I could break things out from there. Let's save though. What did I even do? Actually, I do want it there. Fixed if user can input on skill. Alrighty, so then what we want to do for vocation skill is have it so that we do have the different messages, that's all good, and what we're gonna have, let's grab our we have our messages, which I think are actually, and the thing is though, these won't be vocation skill messages. These will just be skill. I think these will just be skill messages. We're gonna see how we like this here. I might need to break this apart into different things. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm going to say, what is my default state? Ooh, and this is interesting. So I have to provide the ability to make these different things. What are we gonna do here? It's a good question. Is the only question. What are you thinking, Jack? I'm thinking I want lunch, but because there's a couple different ways to handle this. Okay, well, like the obvious thing here is that I can just do let update message model. I mean, there's all this normal stuff, and I could just map it basically and saying, hey, a vocational. My whole thing why I was pausing there is because I kind of think that there might be a way. Like, do I want to wrap things this way? And honestly, do I even need a but it is nice. I like the fact that there's a weapon skill. We need it to be that way. So this is the right way to do it. We can say model with, or no, we don't even need to do this. We can just literally say skill.message, and we can give this guy the update function that he wants, so we can just give him message and model, and then we will need to give him the model, but our model won't work here. We do need to give it wrapped, so we need to say and honestly, this needs to be a vocational skill here. So we say vocational. Wabayam. And then if you remember our vocation, we can take in many different things. We can take in 3 different things. So we need to make sure, we need to specify, hey, this model, we need to unwrap this model here. Because model here should have type, well, it doesn't know right now, but it will have type vocation skill. Okay, so we'll have type vocation skill. We need it to end up as, but we need to extract out of the vocation skill. We need to extract out our vocational skill. So I believe, let's go over to our type here and go double check. Yeah, so what I can do here, I just need to, how do I forget, it's really simple. How do I extract out my, oops, wrong file. So I have model, and I know model is going to be of this. Actually, technically, I don't know. And actually, it doesn't really matter because all of these have a vocational skill. So then actually what I need is a function that can digest. Yeah, easy. Easy peasy. We just need something that says, because underneath the hood here, vocational skill is like the base case. Weapon skill is actually just a vocational skill, but they're just wrapped differently because I'm going to handle it differently. And then magic skill here is got a vocational skill in it too. So all I need actually here is a function that says let vocation skill to vocational skill. And I gotta figure out a better name for that because I do not like that name. So then what we're gonna do here, what are we doing? So, we are going to go ahead and throw, we're gonna go ahead and throw our vocation skill in here. And then as we're going to throw in our vocation skill, and then we're also going to start unwrapping. So we're going to match on our vocation skill with, and if it is a vocational skill, then we are going to take our vocational skill here, and we are going to just return vocation skill. If we get a weapon skill, then we can return. But if we get a magic skill, so if we get a magic skill, we are going to grab a magic skill, and then we're going to magic skill, oops, dot, well, bam. So now we have this function that can take a vocation skill and convert it to a vocational. We can go back over here now and just give it our model. And it's angry at us. How come? This expression was expected to have type skill. Well, you are not a skill. Can't I do it this way? I forget. Where I can just make a base case? Or like just all these behave the same way? It is angry at me, so we're gonna try this again. Vocational skill. This is expected to have a skill? Thinks it's returning out a skill? Why? Ah, we do need to wrap this afterwards though, don't we? Which makes complete sense. So then we have a skill. I do need to wrap it though. I need to say yes, so I do need to give it a new, I can say, ooh, okay, this is a little weird. So I need to unwrap it. This is very simple, but I'm blanking. So what you're supposed to do, I know, is take it in, unwrap the vocation, and then well, then I'll have a vocational skill. So actually, I know what to do. We're gonna make this easy for my brain. And then we just want to make a new thing here. And we just want to feed it a brand new. We want to feed it a brand new object here, and our object will be because it is a new vocational skill. But isn't that what? Now, why is this saying this is a skill? That's my whole problem here. This is not a skill. Because vocational skill, right? Doopa-doopa-doo. Is a skill in a governing attribute name. Okay. So then actually what we want to do is so actually what we want to do is first call this on model. So first we want to say let vocational skill equal this. So we have a vocational skill now. Then we want to, we still have a handle on model, so we still have a vocation skill. Then we want, to so we don't need this. We're going to want to make a, ooh, but see, this shouldn't be throwing me for a loop, but it is, because essentially model right now could be, it's a vocation skill. It could be any of these three things here. We can get out the vocational skill from it, but then within here, I guess just why am I blanking? I think I can do something else clever here. So I can actually use match. I think match can do multi-match, and then we can multi-match on the message and the model. So I think I can do message and model, and then so if I have this message with a vocational skill, so now, yeah, this is what we want to do, because this way I have that was my whole problem. When I can match like this, I can like handle a bunch of I know that I'm getting a vocational skill. Like my model has to be a vocational skill, and my message has to be a vocational skill message. So this simplifies things. So then all we're gonna do is we're gonna construct a new thing here, our governing, and actually we can just say, we can say model with, or not model, vocational skill with, and then we can give it here our, so governing attribute is going to say the same. The only thing we want to change here is our skill, and our skill is just going to equal skill update. Okay. Might be a little bit angry at me. How come? So that'll just update the skill, which is perfect. And then it wraps it back in a vocational skill again. And then we can do the other one for the other three. And we're going to go ahead and just get our base case out of the way here. So if we got anything that isn't the things above, why are you angry at me? Last but not least, we got magic. Because magic skill contains a vocational skill within it, so then we can say magic skill dot vocational skill. I don't think I can do it this way. Let's see, can I do it this way? Oh, you can, cool. And then I think I need to do this. Still angry at me, huh? I do... What band? So you can do that now. Wow, you can like deconstruct it really easily. So you can do magic skill with vocational skill dot skill, and I can update that, and then I can rewrap it and send it back. Pretty cool. Okay. So then, why is vocational skill angry here? Ah. So this is where having two... Oh, who's calling me?